All right, now then, welcome everyone to CL, back for another wet quali, for a wet sprint quali. This time in Singosari for round 2. We have Gamer returning after a long time of absence because of his broken PC. He's back, and he was a contender back in the day, of course. So I'm very excited to see what he can do here. Of course, we have the standard people here also as well. Pito's here, Albono's here, Toaster's back again for his second race. Ludwig also here. We have a good group of people, 16 people in the lobby today. Let's see if they can get anything done here in the wet sprint. Of course, this time around, not like last time, we don't have rain in the main race in any of the other races. So I don't think many people have actually practiced rain this time around. Maybe the others who drove JL or UL the other time around had practiced it a little bit. But this time it should be interesting to see who can get a pole here. So we're already coming up to the end of this lap. And it's Ludwig. Ludwig for, I think, his first time on pole. Well, maybe he did before because I didn't see the last two races. But still, very, very good lap from him. And quite a bit clear from Benna in second. Let me take some quick screenshots here. This one. So yeah, very good results from Ludwig. I think he was a mobile player as well, so it's good to see that he's also converting well to PC here. Very strong time with Benna, Machumdar, Fede and Kata in the top 5. Mika out there. Glow is in 7th for Rising Goat, also good results from him. Chiruni heading the HRTs, which is not their best result. Kato also, like last time around, on pole, of course, this time in 13th. Didn't practice rain this time, I imagine. And Albono also just came back, maybe like still in a bit of a rush, a bit stressed. Didn't see anything from him, so I think he also probably did not practice any rain. But this should be a very interesting first round. Albono not ready yet, but we'll see what the sprint can bring us. Some people in places that we usually don't see them, so it should be very fun. So yeah, here we go, Ludwig on pole position in CL, which is still very, very good. Maybe he did practice, and we're off, and we immediately, Benna moving to the inside. Is he going to send it on turn 1? He's trying, but he's nothing that he can do there. Mika sends it up, and immediately wants to go for that third spot as well. Majumdar doesn't let him. Majumdar takes some grass and creates a little bit of a gap, but Black Rockets here with Mika. And a lot of pushing and moving and leg rocketing, and Mika gets sent off here. His ping unfortunately not helping him again, but Fede gets through. With Chiruni, who came from 8th, I think. I'm pretty sure. That is incredible first lap from him. Fede is still there, but getting pushed a little bit by Chiruni. Ludwig just immediately drove away from the whole field. Has a 1.5 second gap. Glow also, just as I say it, he gets pushed into the grass, but Benna now back into second place. Chiruni still close behind. Majumdar, I think, just out of the slip, but very close with 3 wide, and we have a leg rocket again, I think, but just about everyone survives except for Glow. Kato around the outside of many people, trying to make up from his 13th. Oh, bit of TPing again. I'm scared to DNF Kato this time because last time he wasn't too happy with me, understandably. Back at the front, Ludwig just extending his gap. I assume he did a good amount of wet practice. Benna sadly goes into the grass twice there. Ludwig is just very comfortable here. Very comfortable in the wet. No problems, no stress, no one behind him. And Chiruni now also creating a bit of a gap to Majumdar and Benna behind. With still a lot of fighting behind here, like a 4-man pack. All next to each other, all lagging. Kata into the grass, Vituko up the inside, around the outside of Mika, Kata in the grass again. A typical CL sprint chaos, I would like to say, but Mika tries to move around the outside of Kata, and does murder him quite significantly. But up the front, it's like the top 2 is just gone. Cheru also with a 2-second gap, but catching Ludwig, I think. Let's see, because the timing screen does get a bit weird around this part of the track. So let's see when we cross the line what we have here. I think it's about a 2-second gap. So he is catching very slowly, I want to say. At just 600ths of a second, so nothing crazy, but you know, he's keeping him honest, keeping him like on his pace. Benna's still there, and has a little bit of a gap to the top two, but also a gap behind Fede and Majumdar. Majumdar was in that third place, I think, but just struggling right now to keep up with the first couple of people. But fighting Fede is not going to help either of them catch Benna for the third place. Bituko still... Oh, that was not great, but Bituko is still up here, but not dominant at all like we saw him last weekend out. He is just in 5th place now, after his double win in Brazil. But still, Fede and Kata, and a lot of pushing and bumping around, but so far so clean. Kata sending it up the inside, but nothing going for like her way this time. Further back, Kato, who we saw up into 5th place at some point, I think, is now back in 13th where he started, so I think he just got a bit unlucky with some drivers that he encountered. Albono is trying to do something with his last place, gets into a little bit of a lag rocket again, and absolutely flies off with Kato. Kato probably not having the most fun. So let's see up front, because I do see indeed that Ludwig has been caught up. Jeruni, superior pace right now, caught up like 6/10 in the last lap here. We can see now a little bit of a fight emerging for that first place. Jeruni, of course, a very experienced driver, with Ludwig very new to PC. Let's see if they can keep it clean and nice. So far, it's not bad. A bit of pushing, but mostly own mistakes, keeping them off the track. Giovanni tries to switch back, but nothing working for him. He has to stay behind for now. We're still on lap 6 out of 9 only. So everything to play for still. Is Benna close? Not really. Bituko's still there, keeping himself in the fight for that top 3, but makes a little mistake as Giovanni goes side by side again with Ludwig. Sends it up the inside, Ludwig goes wide, and he goes through for now. Ludwig touches a bit of grass, but stays in the slip, I think, just about. So he's still in this fight with Jeruni, and both are, of course, looking for their first win of the season. It's a great thing to get under your belt, to get that stress out, to get that first win done. Majumdar leaves. I don't know where he was just before he left, but it's a shame to see, because he was having a good start at least. Jeruni and Ludwig still fighting, allowing Benna to come back here a little bit. Only 1.8 behind here. Bituko only 1 second behind Benna again, but again, just as we watch him, makes the same mistake as last lap around. So going to the second to last lap here. Jeruni still leading. Ludwig following him in his slip. It makes a little mistake here, takes a bit too much grass, especially now that the wet tires are getting older. Those grass touches have to be smaller, so you don't lose too much speed and just completely bog down. But Ludwig's still there, still trying to catch Jeruni and make a last lap move here. But so far just holding stationary. Fede is also basically DNF'd, I think. I didn't see him leave, but he's just standing there on the side and definitely not continuing his race. So there we go then. The last lap. Both make a mistake into the last corner. So we still have a fight on our hands. But Ludwig makes a big mistake for lap 1. That does break the slipstream, I think, and might be the end of it for him, unless Jeruni makes a big mistake here now. But Ludwig very close to him, but not really getting anywhere. So a little bit closer and closer every lap, back into the slipstream. We have a fight here also with Bituko, who gets sent off by Benna a little bit, but that's not important right now, because we have a fight for the lead. With Jeruni going wide, Ludwig still there, can he do something? He tries to keep it clean, he has to send it on the last corner. Is he going to send it on the last corner? He's trying it. Oh, he kind of gets on Jeruni, but no, I think it will be Jeruni. And it is Jeruni, very good race from him. Bituko takes third after a little fight with Benna. Glow comes home in 5th here, with Kata and Mika behind. A lot of gaps here. Gamer returns in 8th, with 9th going to Toaster and 10th to Albono. Vito is still holding on to 11th, with Kato sadly in 12th after a good start. Lexus 13th, Wesley in 14th, and Fede I don't think he finished, but comes home in 15th with, a very big gap. With Majumdar only DNF for this race. But that was a very interesting first race. Didn't expect it to be a fight for the lead after the gap that Ludwig got to himself in those first couple of laps, but I guess it's a bit of the nerves, a bit of the inexperience showing. And Jeruni took advantage of it, gets a fastest lap as well in the end. So just a solid race from him. Solid recovery drive from 8th on the grid as well. So very, very good race from Jeruni. Let's see if he can do the same in the dry as I take a sip of water because I'm very thirsty right now. Alright, so we're back in again. Back in for a second round of qualifying, this time for the feature race and without the rain. So we can see the true pace of everyone, because I assume everyone has practiced this. At least I hope for them that they have practiced this. So we can see like Bituko has been a very, very strong contender, of course, this whole season. He did a good comeback to get 3rd in the end here in the sprint as well. And I think he will be fast again from what I've seen in some practice races, in the dry as well. Let's go on board with him. Like, he takes every corner good, hits a little bit of grass there, so that is a bit unfortunate. It's not going to be his best time, I assume, but hits all the corners otherwise, no grass. A little bit of missed apexes, but that's not important, and another bit of grass, so not going to be his best time, I assume, for the first lap. Let's see who's first though. It's Albono. Albono leading the way here, but as we go to him, hits a little bit of grass, so falls back the order down the order a little bit. So we see the first Glow and Jeruni with Lexus right behind. What a first couple of times here. It's nothing close to what we saw in JL, because I think I just got a screenshot that it was a 42.5 in JL, which great time. So I assume we will see some improvement, because I cannot imagine that JL will be faster than CL, but you never know, of course. Could be that everyone has a bad quali. So we go on board with Lexus, who still kind of remains in that first place. He's still on a good lap, I think. Hasn't hit any grass thus far, I think. As we round the last corner, takes that last corner nicely and goes to another 43.12, but Jeruni improves. Jeruni goes up to a 42.9 with Ludwig also again up there. Maybe Ludwig is up for a back-to-back pole here. It's the first time that has happened for a long time, because it did not happen in the last race, I believe. So Jeruni then. Is Jeruni also a dry master after... Oh, murders himself, okay. I guess not. So Jeruni is stuck at that 42.92. Can anyone else do something about it? Lexus again at the head of the field. Maybe this time something else on a 43.12. So we go across the line. And we see 42.90 and he goes ahead, but Fede goes ahead even more. Fede goes to 42.87. Very far from the JL times, but still very respectable time. So it's Fede, who I think had pole in Brazil as well. So another very good lap from him, with Lexus in second. I am not sure what screenshots I'm all sending, so let me just do that first, before I forget again. So there we go. So it's Fede in first, with Lexus a very, very good lap in the dry. Probably trained a bit more in the dry than in the wet, but very good to see him up there. Jeruni takes third after a solid second lap, but sadly couldn't hold on to that pole position, with Ludwig in fourth. Kata in fifth. Albono also made it up to sixth. And then we have Glow, Machundar, Bana, Bituko, our championship leader, down in 10th. Not a great start for him here. Kato goes to 11th. Toaster in 12th, DoGamer in 13th, after we saw a good showing from him in his first return to the sports after a while. Pito goes 14th, with Wesley 15th and Mika 16th. As there we go, we're back on the grid. Let's see what kind of strategies people come up with, because it's a bit of an awkward amount of laps. I think it's going to be a lot of mediums, as everyone except for Lexus, Jeruni and Kata at the front start on mediums. So Lexus and Jeruni looking to immediately pass Fede, because they don't want to be stuck behind a medium runner here. So Lexus goes around the outside, big lag rocket, and everyone goes off behind. Fede survives. But behind, I think Jeruni did somehow survive, but did kill almost half the field with that move. Toaster gets stuck on the inside there. Big lag rocket between the SRA teammates. They get sent back. Bituko did apparently sent back because he's already up to 5th after just the first couple of corners. Fed is still leading the way. Charuni and Lexus need to pass him if they want to make this strategy work, because starting on the soft and running behind the medium runner is not going to help their race. But Fede is very strong here on the mediums, gets a little bit of a gap, but the slipstream is very strong here. So it's very hard to break that, and especially with them on the softs, I assume they can drive back into it even. Glow is also having a good start, up to 4th here. Glow holding on to that top pack as Fede makes a little mistake and Jaruni goes past. Lexus tries as well, but gets pushed off by Fede sadly. As Glow takes advantage of all of this, sends himself into 3rd. Fede is still holding on to Jaruni, but has to probably just wait it out. Like, running against a soft runner is a difficult... Oh, Glow sadly didn't make that. Bituko also holding on. The VLP is looking very, very strong again, with a 2-3 at the moment, as we see Benna getting a little bit squirmy on the outside. Fed is still holding station. I think it's the best thing that he can do right now. He shouldn't go for moves that are not going to gain him anytime. He probably doesn't want to risk Lexus getting caught up again. So Lexus is still very close. He could probably catch if Jaruni is not too fast. But Jaruni holding the pack and like holding his own, not getting stressed by the VLPs in his mirrors. He's still there. Fede tries a little bit of a move on the inside, which VLPs murdering each other as Jaruni gets free now. Like, maybe this is what he needs. He needs like a little bit of that stress-free driving, so he can just drive away from them and make his strategy work with this aggressive soft start. And Lex is now also catching up because of that move that happened between Bituko and Fede. The VLP Garage not going to be happy. I think Kubo is going to send some angry emails with angry PowerPoints later today. As Bituko holds Fede up a bit more even, with a little bit of a mistake. And Jaruni is just profiting, just driving away. Not thinking about anything, just keeping it clean. The whole pack now catching up. Like, I have 2 to 5th and maybe soon also Keta here, who has a nice recovery after that initial lag rocket with her teammate. But Glow goes for a bit of a dive here on Lexus, and that might lose him the slipstream, but I think they just about hold on. Jeru extending now. Extending a lot, 7/10 in the last lap. So the VLPs are in the 44s, with Glow still in the 43s, trying to hold on to that slip, but makes a little mistake. It's just on the edge of it, I think, right now. But holding on for now. Jaruni slows it down a little bit as his softs are, of course, starting to... not sure who that was, but Jaruni probably starting to notice a bit of like wear on his tires. Soft tires can do, of course, 6 laps without much problem, but will be a lot more worn than the mediums at this point. And Jaruni already goes in, going for an aggressive undercut as well. Very aggressive strategy from Jaruni. Gotta see what he's going for. He's going for mediums here. So I assume he's maybe doing a soft, medium, hard rainbow strategy or something. Bituko still leading from the other pack, with Glow now in 2nd. I don't know what happened to Fed, and maybe he made a mistake somewhere. But he's still in the slip of Glow, but Glow not in the slip of Bituko. So we might have DNF here. It's Beto DNFing. I assume lag related, but we'll never know. We'll know after the race. So we have Bituko a bit clear, but he still making a few mistakes, and Glow also making mistakes. Fede trying to capitalize, but not working, as Glow just goes for an early undercut as well on these. He wants to be off these mediums. He doesn't want to be there. There's a lot of other people also into the pits now. We see Jaruni passing there. Jaruni in some traffic maybe. It's not that much. He had a decent outlap, I think. 49.6, not amazing, but also not that bad. So he has to deal with Benna now. I'm not sure if Benna's going to let him through. Benna does see him and does realize... Oh, kills himself. Majumdar then. Is Majumdar going to be a problem for Jaruni? Catches him at a bit of an awkward spot here. Not sure if Maju sees him. He does not really, and Jaruni takes a bit of grass, but now he goes to the side and everything is good, as we see the leader spitting. Both VLPs now into the pits, going for the hearts. Mediums for Fede, as Jaruni. It's a substantial gap. The undercut doing wonders for him. Majumdar taking a lot of advantage out of having Jaruni in front of him and taking that slipstream. That will do a lot of good for his race, I imagine. I'm not sure where he was before, and let's have a look. He would pit out around Kato, I would imagine. Maybe in the gap between Kata and Kato. So that would be a good gap to pit into. Bit of free air, hopefully. But Jaruni has still around a 2-second gap. But I think he will be finishing on the hardest tires. With Bituko taking them now already. So Jaruni just has to make sure that he gets a big gap out in front now. So he can pit into it and not have too much of Bituko or Fede or Glow to deal with. As Glow is right behind Bituko still. They're just in a slip train right now, with two of them. Fede has Lexus to deal with, Kata is still up there as well. Kata also having a solid race so far. Still holding on to the basically effective top 4 as Lexus get absolutely murdered. So Kata's still there with Fede, trying to make something out of this. As Majumdar has pitted, like I imagined, just ahead of Kato. So hopefully he doesn't have too much fighting to deal with. I think Kato would also like to just stay behind and take a bit of that slip, as he, I think, just made a mistake, so not really working, but he is still in the slipstream, so a lot of time gained for him. Jaruni is just, let's see, we have some TPing. Is it Do Gamer TPing, or someone behind TPing, or Do Gamer just goes into the grass, so let's have a quick look here. Also a little fight going on. We have both Bobcats around, the Toaster and Ludwig. Ludwig surprisingly all the way down in 14th after a very, very strong showing in the wet. Maybe only trained wet, could be, I don't know. Do Gamer gets shown to the grass by Mika. Probably something happened there before, which Mika wasn't too happy about. Toaster goes for a sand, which doesn't really work out. Do Gamer, on his return, not close to the same form that he had, but he has, of course, not been racing for, I think, about a season, so might be a little bit rusty. Jaruni is starting to lose his lead to Bituko here. Jaruni was about 2.5 seconds ahead, and Bituko is just catching lap after lap. Did a very good 43.4 also on his hards. That's almost the best time that has been set so far in this race, but on hard, so that's impressive, as he sadly makes a little mistake. But still, he is catching Jaruni, and Jaruni is now on, I think, 6 lap old hards, so he should still be good, but might be looking to pit soon as he goes for one more stint of possibly the hards to finish this race on. Let's see if the chat has anything useful to say. Not really. So we go back to the race and we see that Glow is also getting caught up by Fede. I think Fede has been doing a stellar job. I think catching him by over a second on the last lap and taking Kata with him. Kata super happy, I imagine, just being on the hards, just in Fede's slip, as I say that, losing Fede's slip, but maybe with the pink still there. Just getting dragged along back to that front back, as Glow is catching Bituko a lot as well. Bituko catching Jaruni, everything bunching up as Jaruni goes for his pit stop. At the expected time, probably going for the hards, I imagine, to the end. So he has a hard job ahead of him to take these hards and not get caught up by people who will be on the fast tires, but gets alongside his teammate. Will that matter? No, he murders his teammate. But fair enough, he has a better strategy, team play, I guess, I don't know. As we go back to the front with Glow, fully caught up to Bituko now, in his slip again. He had lost him for a little bit there, I think, but still back to it now. And on these hards, just trying to make the best of it, and hopefully when they come out, there might be a little fight between them and Jaruni. No pitting so far. Glow went for an early stop as well. He tried the undercut, which I think worked well for him, as he tries to move around the outside of Bituko on all tires. He is fast. He is on the 43, so probably helped a bit by slip. Bituko in the 44.3 so far, and Glow maybe lost a bit of patience or focus. Kata's still there, I think. Yeah, Fede has also pitted ahead and came back behind Kato. Maybe some team play there for the HRT pros, trying to get Jero a bit of a gap to Fede at least, as Jero has passed Majumdar now. Jeru looking to extend his lead as much as possible before Bituko and Glow and Keta and all the others start pitting and start trying to catch him. Keta's the first of that top group to go in. Goes for the medium, 7 more laps to go. 7 laps to catch Jeruni, but it's a big ass because she's far behind now. Came out a lot behind Fed as well, so Fed is undercut, good for about 2 seconds of gain as well. So Kato still holding on, Majumdar on a very long strategy here. Don't think he might be finishing on the softs right now. And Jeru just driving his laps, just trying to make as little mistakes as possible. Keep it on track. He should be on for at least a podium, and who knows, probably a win even. No pitting yet from Bituka and Glow. They want to finish on the softs, they want to finish strong. Make sure that they have the best chance of catching Jeruni, as he will be probably about 4 to 5 seconds ahead when they get out of the pit lane. Jeru keeping it clean. Majumdar still not in. Fede trying to catch him, but 3 seconds behind also. So Majumdar also strange strategy, but might work out for him. Sadly, Lexus has completely dropped off here from the back of Keta and Fede. Of course, with that little incident that he had with Keta there, might have sent him back a little bit and lost him a bit of confidence. As still, he's on for a nice P7 or P6 even, with some more pitting going on, as we see Glow pitting now. Bituko still not in, really leaving it till last as Glow comes out behind Fede, but on very, very fresh tires. So probably going ahead of him and maybe helping him like get towards Jeruni. If Fede sees it, I'm not sure if Fede is aware of what's happening. Because they have a big gap to Jeruni to catch, about 5 seconds. And Bituko, of course, when he pits will also be this far back. Probably not bothered as much by his teammate as Glow will be. Because I assume that Fede tries to be a team player, not to Glow. Glow will have to wait. I'll have to wait and see, as Bituko is now finally in for the softs. Has Fede held up that group enough? Fede has held him up enough, as he sent Glow into the grass just for a good measure. Bituko is on the hunt. 3.5 seconds, 4 seconds behind Jeruni, but on soft tires for 5 last laps. Softs are very fast, and Jeruni's hards are going to be old, so it's going to be possibly a second a lap that he's going to be gaining. And that would get him back on Jeruni's ass by the end of this race, so we might see some fireworks here. Maybe despair for Jeruni, maybe some amazing results, but we will see. Bituko starting off with a 48.8, good outlap. And I'm sure he will want this, as he makes a little mistake. He can't be affording to do any mistakes. Glow still there with Fede and Kata. Glow now leading this pack because he is, of course, on the best tires. So that is a smart move from this group to let him lead, as Fede makes a mistake and Kata is sending it up the inside. Still trying to hold on to Glow, but I think Glow has enough of a gap now, so might secure him his podium place right now. I think this is one of Glow's better results in the past couple of races. I'm not fully aware of what his latest statistics are, but I don't think I've seen him on the podium for a while. So very good to see him back at the top. Bituko still catching. He caught by about 7/10 last lap, so that is still enough. He can't be making any mistakes. He has to be clean. He has to be focused. He just has to hope that Jeruni's tires are going off so much that he is going to start making mistakes, maybe even. Bituko is getting there. He is under 2 seconds now. Especially in these sectors, as he makes another mistake. It's not helping his progress here. Jeruni just keeps it clean. Jeruni just driving slow and steady. Has to do only that. Has to just not touch any grass, because it costs so much more to do it on worn hards than on fresh soft. As the gap extends now, because I think Bituko made maybe more than one mistake there. So at the moment, still Jeruni holding on for a very, very good result. A double win possibly in CL here. But now we get to the point where this hards get slidey. Bituka's soft will be good for the rest of the race. He only has to keep it on the road. Keep hitting his apexes. That is looking good so far, and he's getting very, very close. It's gonna come down to this last lap. He has just over a second to catch right now. It should be possible to get him into that slipstream and get him into... No, not yet. He is only 0.8 behind right now, and he takes that aggressive cut, and he must be so close now to the slip. He must be almost there. Giruni has had a superb race, but I don't think he needs some incredible defense to hold back Bituko here with the softs. Bituko immediately sends it at the first opportunity, goes up the inside. Giruni tries to hold on, but just doesn't have the tires. Bituko makes a mistake, but Giruni goes into the back of him. We go to the last couple of corners, the last couple of places where Giruni could maybe do something. Giruni goes up the inside and hits the grass and tries with the slip, but no, it's going to be Bituko. Bituko on the last lap, taking his third win of the season. Giruni comes back in second, but very, very good weekend from him. Glow in third after a good amount of time not being on the podium, with Fede taking fourth and Keta still taking fifth. Well, Keta taking sixth. Something must have happened there. And Lexus takes fifth. Maybe there was a bit of lag going on, I'm not sure. But yeah, very, very good result from the VLPs again, but also from Giruni. Good to see him back at the top. As we get screenshots in. And we can have a look if anyone has anything to say about it, maybe. Do we have anyone in the chat who was racing in CL here? I don't think so. No, Flix, you didn't race. Sorry. But no, like, good race here in Indonesia. Very exciting race. Exciting till the last moment. But Bituko comes back and takes it when it's important. A feature race where the most points are scored, of course. So good to see him showing why he is a championship leader and why he might be banned from CL if he continues like this. So as I don't see anyone, I'm just gonna end it here. And we'll see you next week for a race at Sachsenring in Germany. So have a good night and see you later.